Penguin Random House Audio presents The Mind-Body Method, How Moving Your Body Can Strengthen Your Mind, by Dr. Anders Hansen. Read for you by Dr. Anders Hansen and Nikolas Salmon.
Forward. What is the best exercise for the brain? Had I been asked that question 15 years ago, I would probably have guessed crossword puzzles or Sudokus. But to the surprise of many, the answer is physical exercise. Physical exercise not only makes us feel better, it also improves all our cognitive functions. It boosts our memory, sharpens our attention, and makes us more creative. It even seems to affect our intelligence. In the right direction, I should add. This may seem strange, but it's backed up by decades of neuroscientific research. We have seen an explosion of studies that confirm the effects of exercise on our cognition. But what I have found most striking as a psychiatrist is the effects of exercise on mood and well-being. Exercise not only reduces our risk of anxiety and depression, but can also be used to treat these conditions as effectively as antidepressants or therapy. I've taken this knowledge to heart and often prescribe exercise to my patients. Of course, I still prescribe medication and therapy as well, but I view exercise to be as important as treatment, and that is a viewpoint supported by science. Personally, I've always been physically active. I loved playing soccer when I was growing up, and I've continued to exercise during my adult life. But when I read all the studies and learned how exercise strengthens the brain, I started taking it more seriously and made sure never to miss it. Not because I wanted to become good at a particular sport, but because I knew my brain needed it. Then it slowly dawned on me that if I felt motivated from learning this, maybe others might as well. That is how the idea for this book came to me. I worked on the mind-body method for almost 2 years. I wanted it to be packed with science and facts, but I also wanted it to be exciting to read. I wrote, rewrote, and rewrote it again to make sure the knowledge was accessible. My goal was that everyone would understand it, not just those who are interested in psychology and neuroscience. I wanted to show the mechanisms through which exercise boosts the brain and how much exercise you need to do to reap these benefits. But beyond that, I wanted my readers to ponder exercise in an evolutionary light and not only learn how it affects the brain, but why it does so. Humans are built for movement. But fear not, exercise has nothing to do with being good at a sport. It is about riding a bike to work instead of taking the car. It is about doing some gardening or taking a walk instead of watching TV. Anything that involves movement works, and the brain counts every step, not how, where, or when we take them. I hope that the mind-body method would be an interesting read for a couple of thousand people. I did not dream that the book would sell more than 700,000 copies in my native Sweden. It's staggering to think that 7% of my country's population has bought it. But the greatest payoff is not sale figures or chart positions, it's the feedback from people who, through emails, letters, and on the street, have told me how this book motivated them to become more physically active. More or less all of them say the book provided the spark for a change in their lifestyle that has made them both feel and function better. Even though I always tell them that they should not thank me, they should thank themselves, since they have done all the work, I must admit it makes me proud. I know their new lifestyle means that they have improved their chances of living a longer and healthier life. To play a small part in that, in a way to be a doctor to someone you have not met is, well, it's just awesome. Since the mind-body method was first published, many more scientific studies has been published that confirm what I wrote in the book. I'm happy that it's still so relevant, and had I written it today, I would probably have written exactly the same book. In fact, the book is even more relevant today, The COVID-19 pandemic made us more sedentary and more glued to our screens than ever. And that has cost human lives. Major studies have shown that exercise reduces your risk of being hospitalized and needing intensive care for COVID-19 by about 50%. Let me repeat that. Exercise cuts your risk of getting severely sick in half. It does not make you immune to the virus, but it does make you less likely to become severely sick and die if you catch it. And COVID-19 is just one of many diseases. Exercise also reduces the risk of diabetes, cardiovascular disease, breast cancer, and colon cancer. However, although these protective effects are eyebrow-raising, they are seldom motivating. Very few people will change their habits from knowing that the risk of a future disease is knocked down by a number of percentage points. Humans have not evolved to think about what will happen to them in the future. We have evolved for the here and now, and that is why the effects of exercise on the brain are so important. They are here and now. You will become more focused now if you move. You will be more creative now. You will be more tolerant to stress now. I hope that you find the mind-body method interesting. Even more, I hope you find it motivating and that it gives you a small push towards a longer, healthier, happier, and more productive life. Anders Hansen, January 2024.
Preface. Exercise your brain. Make 2 fists and join them together side by side. This is the size of your brain. It weighs about the same as a carton of milk. Imagine something this small containing everything you have ever felt and experienced. All your personality traits, everything you have ever learned. All your memories, from your first, faint mental images of a summer vacation when you were 3, through your childhood and teenage years, to your current, grown-up life where you are now listening to these words. Everything is stored in that lump, the most complex structure we know of in the universe, which consumes no more energy than a light bulb. Whoever isn't fascinated by the brain can't be intrigued by much. While we've known for some time how the body's other organs work, the brain has remained a mystery, until now. Thanks to recently developed research tools, our knowledge has made great leaps in the past decades. We have begun to understand in detail how the brain functions. Today, few question not only that we have a brain, but that we are our brain. Brain research has given us a biological glimpse at human characteristics, but the biology of your brain doesn't set in stone what sort of person you will be. Studies have brought to light just how fantastically malleable the brain can be in both children and adults. New brain cells are developing constantly. Connections are created and disappear. Everything you do, every thought you have, modifies the brain a little bit. Your brain is more akin to modeling clay than china. So how do you shape this clay? Well, there are few things as important for your brain as moving your body. Not only do you feel better when you're physically active, your concentration, memory, creativity, and resistance to stress are also improved. You're able to process information more quickly. You actually think faster. And you become more adept at mobilizing your intellectual resources as needed. You gain access to an extra mental gear to help you focus when things get hectic around you and to stay calm when your thoughts start racing. In fact, physical activity even seems to increase your level of intelligence. Doesn't that sound strange? After all, if we want stronger arms, we train our arms, not our legs. The same should apply to the brain. If we want a brain that functions better, surely we ought to train it with crosswords, memory exercises, and other brain gymnastics. As it turns out,
Sample complete. Ready to continue?